Welcome to Sabs podcast. I'm your host, sabrinasalvati. My special guest today is Salman Ahmad. He is a Pakistani American physician, filmmaker, humanitarian, and musician. Salman founded South Asia's biggest rock band, Junoon. He has been a UN Goodwill Ambassador for HIV/AIDS and the pandemic and polio eradication. Along with his wife, Dr. Samina, Salman founded SSGWI, which provides interfaith dialogue, education to girls, homes to the homeless, peace and rehabilitation. And he is the author of the book Rock and Roll Jihad, Simon and Schuster. Dr. Salman Ahmad is a close aide of former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his focal person on arts and culture. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for that kind intro.
So, Salman, I've been discussing this situation with Imran Khan since the first incident that I became aware of, which was when the police surrounded his home, and Imran Khan actually released a video telling people that they were outside of his house. They were accusing him, I believe, of inciting some type of violent protest. But to his defense, he said he did not incite any type of violent protest. Let's start from that particular incident when the police surrounded his home. What do you feel, from your experience, caused that activity to happen at his house?
Thank you, Sabrina. So for perhaps your viewers, let me just provide a little bit of context. So former Prime Minister Imran Khan was toppled April 9th, 2022, by his ex-army chief who colluded with, international players, and his government, which was in power for 3.5 years, came down. But what we saw after that was basically a quasi-martial law in Pakistan. And the former prime minister faced multiple assassination attempts, including one in which I was with him in a helicopter, October 8th, 2022. Both the engines were failing. Someone had mixed sediment into the fuel, and it was just miraculous that in that hilly area, the pilot was able to land on a cricket pitch, which is ironic because the former prime minister, as you know, is a champion cricketer, and he won the World Cup for Pakistan. So fast forward to that police surrounding his house. After surviving multiple assassination attempts, this fascist government in Pakistan has levied 200 bogus charges on him, which from terrorism to blasphemy to murder to corruption. And the one that you're talking about was this kangaroo court trial, where the judge basically didn't even allow the former prime minister his defense witnesses, and speed dialed the verdict, wrote the verdict in 30 minutes, and then fled to England. And so since that day, the police surrounded him and dragged him like a terrorist to this high security prison called Attak Jail, Sabrina. Now in Attak Jail, he's kept in a death cell reserved for death row prisoners. He is not allowed due process. In fact, today was his hearing, and voila, the judge disappears on vacation for a few days. And so there is complete lawlessness in Pakistan, and the former prime minister is still in a solitary confinement in Attak Jail right now as we speak.
But he's in a cell that's reserved for death row prisoners, but he's not on death row.
No, but in the last 16 months since his government was toppled, Sabrina, I should inform you that almost 10 people who were investigating the government, the recently the government of Shehbaz Sharif, they were found having heart attacks and people suspect these mysterious heart attacks. 10 people had mysterious heart attacks. And what experts have said is that you can put anything into the water and the food, and it seems like the person has died of natural causes, a heart attack. So the fear is that Imran Khan, while he's in this death row cell, they're not allowing him to have food from his own home. He's a former prime minister. He's in according to the jail manual, he's allowed class A facilities for jail, but he's not. This is C class. And so the danger and the fear is that they may insert something into the water, mix something in with the food, and which may cause him to have, on something untoward happen to him.
Wow, this is crazy. One of the questions I do have, and thank you for informing people that he is still there, because a number of outlets have reported that his sentence was suspended. And I'm trying to figure out where they got that information from.
So no, actually, so here's what happened. So one of the 200, close to 200 cases that he has been accused of was this corruption case called the Toshakhana case. So the judge, as I said, there was a kangaroo court trial, and when the high court sat and they said this was complete BS, they suspended his sentence. So he should have been released. But what they did immediately then was is kept him arrested, abducted, illegally detained in this cell for a new case, which is the so-called the Official Secrets Act, because of this cipher story, which was it was broken by Ryan Grimm in The Intercept. And basically, they're accusing Imran Khan of being, while he's in jail in this death cell, having given the cipher story to Ryan Grimm.
So let's go ahead and get into that, because that is one of the items that I did want to cover with you in reference to Imran Khan, because Ryan Grimm did have the opportunity to interview Imran Khan. This was before he was arrested. But this article was released by Ryan Grimm in June, or I think this is August 9th of 2023. It was Ryan Grimm and Murtaza Hussain. And it says that secret Pakistan cable documents U.S. pressure to remove Imran Khan. And so it says here, I'll just read a little bit for people so that they have an understanding here. It says that the U.S. State Department encouraged the Pakistani government in March 7th of 2022 in that meeting to remove Imran Khan as prime minister over his neutrality on the Russia invasion of Ukraine. And that's according to classified Pakistani government document obtained by The Intercept. So I want to talk a little bit about this, because he's not the only one. He's not alone. There have been other leaders of other countries, particularly countries in Africa, that have decided to remain neutral on this conflict with Russia and Ukraine. And I'm curious why the U.S. government chose to come after him, but not others. I don't think they should come after anyone. But this was kind of the smoking gun, so to speak, to see that the U.S. government had a hand in this as well. And I want to get your take on this.
Yeah, so Sabrina, one of the things, very important thing to notice in this story is that the two journalists, Ryan Grimm and Maz Hussain, they declare publicly that this cipher interpretation, right? The cipher is just for people who don't know. The cipher is a secret document which is sent through the diplomats of the country, in this case, the Pakistani government, right? Which basically tells us what communication they had, in this case, with the U.S. diplomat, Donald Lu, okay? So what Ryan Grimm and Maz Hussain have obtained is basically the unclassified version of the cipher, and they said that they got it from the military, a military person within the Pakistan army who was unhappy. This is what they write in the article, that he was unhappy with the way the country was going, and he chose to share this secret sort of unclassified version of the cipher. Now, what's happened because of that is that despite Ryan Grimm saying that it's the military personnel who's given them, they've put Imran Khan in jail. Well, he was already in the death cell, but they've kept him there based on this Official Secrets Act law, which carries the death penalty. Now, your question is, what did the United States have to do with this? Well, Imran Khan, speaking to the Voice of America, said that his uh, military chief, army chief, Bajwa, General Bajwa, he threw him under the bus. He told the Americans that Imran Khan was anti-American. He also told the Americans that Imran Khan chose unilaterally to visit Russia and President Putin, when that is absolute, untruth. This visit, which was in February of 2022, when Prime Minister Imran Khan visited Moscow, was pre-planned from many months before, and the reason he was going there was basically to get cheap wheat and cheap oil from Russia, just like India does. And
Right.
and yet the cipher says that this was, the United States believed this was a unilateral decision of Imran Khan, which is completely untrue.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you so much for that. I wanted to ask you, what is the perception of Imran Khan by the people in Pakistan? Like, how do they feel about him as a leader and his arrest as well?
So great question, Sabrina. So in the past, whenever you've had, just for people to know that Pakistan has been ruled by military dictatorship for more than half of its 76 years, and the rest of them by the puppets of military dictators, which are the dynastic parties, Bhutto and Sharif. Imran Khan was a complete outsider, right? He brought his Movement for Justice, that's the name of his party, the Justice Party. And over the last 27 years, he's battled his way. He battled his way to becoming prime minister. Now, because he didn't toe the military's line, he was punished. And when he was punished and General Bajwa toppled him, the entire, more than 90% of the Pakistani people just came out on the roads and protested peacefully. And 37 by-elections since he's been toppled, he's won 30 of them. Even while in jail, when he's unable to campaign, his party has won by-elections, swept them. In the overseas community, in the diaspora, Sabrina, there's about 10 million Pakistanis, including over 500,000 Pakistani Americans. 99% of them support Imran Khan. So that's how popular he is.
That's interesting. I'm curious to get your perception about this. One of the things that he said in one of the videos that he made, he was sending a message to the people and he told them, do not sit quietly in your homes. I want to talk a little bit about that because in the United States, we don't have one politician that actually has the gall or is brave enough to tell the people that. We thought Bernie Sanders was going to be that, but it did not happen that way. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel other people feel about that? That he's telling the people, don't sit back and just let this happen. Don't sit quietly in your homes. How do you feel about that?
So Sabrina, because I've known him, I played cricket with him. He came to my wedding. He's a friend of mine. Okay, so I've known him for 45 years. So his thrust, his vision has been like Dr. Martin Luther King type of civil rights leader, Dr. Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, those and the founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. They believed in legal activism, social activism, passionate social activism, but non-violent, always using peaceful means. And for 27 years, since he's been in the Pakistani politics, his party has always fought through the ballot, through protests. And what he's saying in the statement that you're mentioning is, he's saying to the people, raise your voices. This is your right. And I might add here, Sabrina, that when I spoke about the cipher and I held General Bajwa accountable, my Twitter account, Sufi Sal, has been locked down. it's been 3 days now. It's been locked down, and so this is how much you know. Free speech, freedom of expression bothers this fascist government of Pakistan.
That is correct. That doesn't surprise me. There's been a number of people that have had that happen to them actually recently in the past like 2 weeks or so, that have been locked out. Garland Nixon has been locked out of his Twitter account. I'm not sure what he said, but they've locked him out as well. I want to get your opinion about some of the past relationships that he's had in the past. For example, when I was explaining to people who he was and like where he came from, at one point in or another, he was more in circles where he knew people that were celebrities, so to speak. Have any of those people, to your knowledge, come out in defense of Imran Khan or offered any type of support or offered any type of help or anything? Like, I'm just curious to see that once he got into politics, if those people were still in his corner.
Well, great question. So publicly, I can say to you that you know, Cat Stevens, Yusuf Islam, he's publicly tweeted. Um, Even John Bolton, the former ambassador of the United Nations and also the National Security Advisor for President Trump, he has publicly spoken against this unlawful, unconstitutional incarceration of Imran Khan. And I feel that if you look at, you know, all the international media that he's gotten, from you know, CNN to New York Times, the BBC, Al Jazeera, all over the world, that people think this is a huge travesty of justice, and that he should be released immediately, because they don't have any evidence of the 200 cases, false, bogus cases that they've brought up against him, which this military government now, in the last 16 months, they have overlooked. When he was the prime minister, Pakistan was growing at 6% economic growth. The rupee was 178 rupees to a dollar. Today, the economic growth is minus 0.5%, under zero. And also, the rupee in Pakistan is 350 rupees per dollar. So they're overseeing an incredible economic catastrophe, and they've gone to the IMF for, you know, basically begging for the 24th time to bail us out. And the IMF is saying, and here's the United States government is also saying, that you have to adhere to free, fair elections, timely, free, fair elections. But it remains to be seen if we're going to go towards free, fair, timely elections.
That is very interesting, because I'm just listening to what you're saying, I'm hearing some similarities in reference to the United States, in reference to politics. So it just goes to show you it's not just an issue that we have in this country, but it's a problem all over, so to speak. What do you think? Well, let's go to the prison system for just a second first. Number one, is he allowed to have any in-person visitors?
So he was prevented. Now he was incarcerated, illegally detained August 5th. And today we're speaking, it's almost a month, right? It's 4th of September today. So initially, for the first 12 days, he couldn't meet his wife, his family. Even his lawyers were not allowed to meet with him. And the reason why, you know, he's a former prime minister who's not getting due process. What the military is trying to show to him is that we are the boss, and showing the people that if you support a man like this, we could do the same thing to you. And so thus what's happening is that people have not revolted violently, but they are protesting non-violently and in ways like taking flags, and they get, you know, tens of thousands of his supporters you know, have been abducted, tortured, are in jail, including women, including US citizens of Pakistani origin who are in jails right now, and without any charge, without warrant, without any documentation. Yesterday, in fact, 2 days ago, his close ally, the president of his Justice Party, was a former chief minister, was, you know, the court said that he should be released. And when he was going home, he was abducted by these people wearing masks. So it's complete law of the jungle. Pakistan has become a banana republic.
Ay, ay, ay. Do you think that, like, in reference to his prison sentence, let's say he is released, what do you think will happen to him after that? Because some people have claimed that even if he is released, they still fear for his safety. Do you think it would be still safe for him to continue to live where he lives? Do you think he would need to move? And the other thing I read too is that they're trying to make it so that he cannot participate in politics or he cannot run for office again, at least for a couple of years.
That's correct. That's what they want to do, Sabrina. And like I said before, he's a Dr. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mandela-like figure. He's not going to leave his country and his country. He said that. He said, you can keep me in this dead cell for 1,000 years, but I'm never going to become a slave. And, he feels that the military, the only option for them is to go back to the barracks and hold free, fair elections. He said the only way towards political, economic stability is free, fair elections, which the Supreme Court has said has to take place under the Constitution in 90 days, which makes it November. So if they obviously don't want, they have a caretaker government, which are handpicked puppets sitting. They want to carry this on as long as they can. But he's saying that I urge the international community to put pressure on Pakistan to follow its constitution, follow the rule of law, and hold free, fair elections.
I want to play this this clip here from him because I think more people need to see this. Let me go ahead and put this up here. This was the speech that he gave to the people. Again, watching some of the other leaders in other countries living in the US, I'm like, I wish we had someone like here that could deliver that message to the people. So I want to go ahead and share this here. This was Imran Khan arrest. Don't sit silently at home. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick here because I thought that this was a really powerful message, and I'll remove this banner.
जब तक ये पैगाम आप तक पहुंचेगा, मुझे ये अरेस्ट कर चुके होंगे और मैं जेल में होऊंगा, तो मेरी आपसे सिर्फ एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है, अपील है कि आपने घरों में चुप करके नहीं बैठना। मैं ये जो जदोजहद कर रहा हूं, ये अपनी जात के लिए नहीं कर रहा, ये अपनी कौम के लिए कर रहा हूं, आपके लिए कर रहा हूं, आपके बच्चों के मुस्तकबिल के लिए कर रहा हूं। पुरअमन एहतजाज आपने करते रहना है जब तक कि आपको आपका हक नहीं मिलता, और वो सबसे बड़ा फंडामेंटल राइट है वोट के जरिए अपनी हुकूमत मुंतखब करना, ना तो किसी और कोई कब्जा ग्रुप इस मुल्क के ऊपर कब्जा करके बैठ जाए जो आज कब्जा करके बैठा हुआ है। शुक्रिया।
So I thought that was just a very strong message that I think more people need to hear. How are people? What is it like now? Like now that he is in prison, are people still protesting in Pakistan, or are some people afraid because of the police?
Yeah. So Sabrina, because of this reign of terror, it's like Hitler's Nazi era or Stalin's era. I have to just give you an example of my own family. So on May 25th, my sister and brother-in-law in Karachi, the southern city of Pakistan, they're U.S. citizens, right? And at 2 a.m., 15 armed men came to their house. They broke down the doors, they broke the glass, they broke the furniture. They were looking for me because I support. I've been vocal, a vocal support of Imran Khan. And since they couldn't find me, they dragged my brother-in-law away. They tortured him, and they told me that if I don't shut up, if I don't give up my support, that they know where all of my family in Pakistan live, my extended family, and so. Long story short, that is what's been happening for tens of thousands of Pakistanis in 2023. They are afraid to even breathe. But what they have been doing, there was a shutter down strike 2 days ago basically the entire country was in shutdown. And now today, since his bail was supposed to be, the judge who was supposed to hear his bail, he just went on a vacation. And his Imran Khan's lawyer said, well, is there a judge? And they said, no, there's no substitute for the judge. When he comes back, we'll hear it. So this is classic, basically military tactics. They're trying to stifle dissent, block the due process, and basically frustrate people into doing something in which they break the law. This is what their strategy is, that the people will revolt in a way which they can hold that against Imran Khan, that he's a terrorist and that his party is a terrorist party. But he's always said, raise your voices, like you just said, but peaceful protest, so it remains to be seen what happens on September 7th when his judge is supposed to, who's gone on vacation, will come back. It remains to be seen what happens then.
Correct, because even though, just so people understand, even though he is in prison right now, if the people were to retaliate in such a way, they could still put the blame on him, even though he's in prison.
Well, absolutely. That's just what they've been doing. The people that they came into my sister and brother-in-law's house, they had no warrant. They were masked men with guns, and basically abducted my brother-in-law, tortured him. No Pakistani law allows that to happen. But what are they saying? They're saying that because Imran Khan provoked this reaction against the military, so we are within our rights as the overlords to put anyone in jail, torture anyone. I have to tell you that there's women, never in Pakistan's history in 76 years have women been tortured, sexually abused in jail, but no one's raising that internationally. I've gone to the media. I'm come to you to say that these are gross violations of human rights in Pakistan, and the international community and the West, especially the United States, needs to take cognizance of these violations of human rights.
That's right. And that was just exactly the point I was about to go to in reference to human rights. Have any human rights organizations been alerted to what's happening in Pakistan? And if so, have they responded?
Well, yes. I mean, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, many of the media has been, but it's mute. Compare this, that with in Russia, the opposition leader Navalny, immediately when Secretary of State Anthony Blinken tweeted that this is political victimization, but why not use the same yardstick for Pakistan as well? So it seems like there's a double standard there. And we are constantly on the 17th of September, Pakistani Americans from all across the United States are coming to in front of the White House to demand the release of Imran Khan and the release of all the political prisoners in jail right now in Pakistan.
What date is that again?
September 17th is Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. Lafayette Square, in front of Lafayette Square.
Okay. Because I'll be sure to make sure I send that out to people on social media as well. I have one more question for you in reference to Imran Khan. He basically created a new political party, correct, from what I understand?
Absolutely.
And what was that? It was a pull away from the status quo parties that had existed before in Pakistan. But from what I've read, it seems like it has been favorable among the people.
So Sabrina, for you and your viewers, he was an athlete. He was the captain of the Pakistan cricket team, and he was the most, in the history of the game, right? He's the greatest of all times. He's like the Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali of cricket. And he won the World Cup for Pakistan when Pakistan beat England in Australia. Then he built a cancer hospital in the memory of his mom who died of cancer. The cancer hospital has provided free treatment for over 75% of Pakistanis, with cancer. And he's built multiple hospitals, universities, but he realized in order to bring real change, he had to come into politics, which he came into in 1996. And Pakistani politics has been basically controlled by the military and two dynastic parties, Sharif and Bhutto Zardari. Now, Imran Khan, for the longest time, he was in the wilderness. For 22 years, he had no power, but gradually, when people understood his message, he won the elections in 2018. And 2018, when he won the elections, his Justice Party basically is for accountability. When he went for accountability of the corrupt, basically they all ganged up against him. And then the army chief, General Bajwa, threw him under the bus when he told the Americans that this guy is anti-American and he's dangerous. So that's how he was toppled.
Interesting. Well, Salman, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And please keep me updated in reference to, his progress. And if there is any release scheduled, please let me know.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you for inviting me.